So we've just started comparing fractions. So in third grade, we get to compare fractions that have the same numerator or the same denominator. Right now, we're going to focus on the same numerator. So one thing that's important to remember is they're not always going to give you a model, so you want to make your own. Okay, so 2/3, I know my whole needs to be divided into 3 equal pieces. Try your best to make them equal. And then you want to shade in 2 of the equal parts. And then 2/4. Well, I remember from that equivalent fraction that 2/4 is equal to half. So I'm going to shade in half of that rectangle and half or not. So when we talk about using our comparison symbols, we know this is less than, greater than, or equal to. So we want to be able to read our fraction with those symbols. So I can see here by my picture that 2/3 is greater. It covers more space than that 2/4. So I would say that 2/3 is greater than 2/4. 2/3 is greater than 2/4. So as we practice comparing, think about these thirds are a larger fraction because it's only cut into 3 equal parts. And those fourths are smaller. They've been cut into 4 equal parts. So more parts means smaller size. So as we practice, I'm hoping that you notice what's happening with that. Let's try fractions that have the same denominator. So if I was comparing 1/4 and 3/4, how might that be different? Well, I can see that my whole is the same for both, and that they are both divided into 4 equal parts. So I always like to do it like that. That way I'm making sure that my wholes are the exact same. So fourths, I always like to make my division in half. And then that way I can divide my halves in half again. So 1/4, only one part is shaded. But 3/4, I have 3 of the 4 equal parts that are shaded. So I can see here that 1/4 is less than 3/4. So as we are comparing our fractions, we really want to make a model. Don't just put that answer down, really make that model. Okay? And a great strategy to use if you've got the same denominator as we do here is we can also think about that fraction on a number line with that 0, 1/4, 2/4, oops, 2/4, sorry, clean that up, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4 we know is equal to 1 whole, and we could keep counting on. But we're going to stop here because 1/4 is here, 3/4 is here, and I can clearly see on my number line that 3/4 is further in the number line. It's much closer to that 1 whole as compared to that 1/4. So just 2 different strategies for you to use as you start comparing fractions. But remember, we're thinking about our model, drawing our model. That really helps us as we begin to practice comparing fractions.